Now, opponents of fracking in North Yorkshire have called on the company behind the plan to file its financial accounts for the year. Third Energy UK Gas is almost 3 months late in lodging its financial statements for the year to December 2016 at Companies House. The company, which wants to extract shale gas at Kirby Misperton, has on 2 previous occasions filed so late that it's been warned it could be struck off and dissolved. The plea for disclosure came on the same day that a group of Tibetan monks visited the fracking site to say a prayer for the land. Our business correspondent Ian Reeve reports.
Local councillor and businessman Mike has qualms over fracking, but he also has a problem with the financial accounts of the company that wants to frack not far from his Pickering home.
Third Energy company's 50 million quid. So, I would ask you, is there anything else that jumps out at you from the accounts that we've seen?
Yeah, well, I don't know the accounts in great detail. One thing of interest is their intangible assets, which is on the other side of the balance sheet, because if you owe 50 million, then assets are the plus side.
Yeah.
So that means there would be 70 million in debt as of last time.
Yeah.
But intangible assets, when they are things like intellectual property and
R&D, isn't it, and goodwill.
Yeah, and goodwill.
And
that's interesting because, as far as I'm concerned, if you ask many people in Rydale, you wouldn't value the goodwill of Third Energy in peanuts. And to have £20 million for what's a relatively small company on the plus side of the balance is very interesting. And I would say, well, surely this is the sort of thing that governments or HMRC would be very interested to know the financial security of a company like that, and see where the shed is that's got £20 million worth of peanuts in it. So.
Right, brilliant. Obviously, it's not live, so if you think, I didn't mean to say it like that, we'll just stop and do it again.
Right.
All right, guys.
Okay, just for the tape, do you want to give me your name and how do we best describe you?
Well, I'm Mike Potter.
And you're councillor?
Yes, I'm Councillor Mike Potter. I'm just a local businessman in Pickering, and I've been interested in the fracking issue for about 5 years. I've got quite serious concerns around the regulation and so on.
Yeah. What are those concerns? Just by the by.
Well, when you look at what's happened in other countries, there's been an awful lot of damage, and this is proven stuff. This is independent, peer-reviewed studies, more and more of which are coming out every year, about contamination with water and air, health issues, seismicity as in earthquakes, and there are all sorts of things. And we've been told by the government and our MP that we can't use these other countries as an example because things haven't been well regulated, but we are going to regulate things very soundly. And yet you come to something like this company's issue and the accounts, and the regulations, the Home Office regulations, state that you've got to put your accounts in the case of Third Energy, by the 30th of September. Now, last Monday, I think it's the 18th of December, was the absolute deadline, at which point, if you've not submitted your accounts, we're going to strike you off the company's record and dissolve the company. Now, that is regulation. And the regulation of the government says this is what will happen. And yet this is a company in an industry that's not got a good record, where we've been promised good regulation so that they can do it in this country, and yet they've not proven themselves to be a sound financial, or to have a sound financial basis.
What you've in part answered the next question, but what is it that perturbs you about them filing their accounts late?
Well, the real thing is this company financially sound and competent enough to carry out this process? Because, as I've just said, in other countries there have been all sorts of problems. Now, if that company, which is owing a massive amount of money, is incapable apparently of filing its accounts on time, whether it's because they're just financially incompetent or they've got something to hide, or whether there's something else, I'm not a company's expert, and if I was, I'd probably be sitting on a beach in the Cayman Islands with the company accounts soaking up the sun. But the thing is, if this company went bust, who then pays to put everything right? And this is what the regulation's all about. Who would pay to put the site back to as it was, which is what they've got to do? Who would pay for any contamination? You know, who would pay for the future, looking at what the well's doing? Is the well leaking? Is it leaking methane? I mean, now we're on to climate change issues, but who would pay that? Is that going to come on to the taxpayer if a company like this went bust? And so it's a distinct worry.
Can I just, before we started filming, you answered it. Your question, your answer about there are two distinct things that make me feel uneasy about it. Could I get you to elaborate on that? Just in answer to the, you know, what's your particular problem with them filing their accounts so late?
Right. Well, one is really, is this company financially competent? Are they able to look after their finances? I mean, one interesting thing to me is that this company is 98 or 97% owned by Barclays Bank, and yet Barclays Bank are a financial institution. Now, if I owned the majority of a company, I would be very interested in the fact that they were financially sound and competent. And I find it quite bizarre that Barclays Bank, as the majority shareholder, or the almost total shareholder, aren't really keeping an eye on what's going on with this company. And they're either not financially sound, or the only other thing that I could think of is that they've got something to hide. So last year they were four months late producing their accounts. Again, they'd gone past the date where they should have been struck off the company's register, and they were something like £44.5 million in debt to Barclays, 50 million in debt in total, 3.9 million over the year. And these are real concerns when this is the company that's going to be doing the fracking in an industry that the government has categorically told us is going to be soundly regulated. Now, regulation isn't just about saying these are the rules. It's about saying these are the rules, you will follow them, we're watching what you're doing, we're policing it, and we're enforcing it. I'm not seeing any sign of the enforcement and the policing.
That's really good. That's very good. You happy with that?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much.
The only thing I didn't mention was the £160,000 bond.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do you want me to mention that?
I think that's something I would like to do as a separate.
Right, that's okay.
Maybe as and when they get permission.
Yeah.
Just,
that's
just,
fine.
Just
Yeah.
because
I mean,
I think conflating this, and we're also going to see the monks.
Oh yeah.
And then
yeah.
another.
Yeah.
I know there's lots of different
Oh,
issues to actually look at, but that's something that I think we could do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a couple of things that I missed out there. I was going to mention Ugland House in the Cayman Islands.
I can do that. Yeah.
Which did you see that quote from Obama about it's either the biggest bank or the biggest building in the world or the biggest tax scam in the world?
Well, I've got a clip.
Yeah.
I've got a clip of a Scottish MP quoted because Obama said it, but he didn't say it on camera.
Oh right.
So, but I've got an MP quoting him.
As long as he said it.
Yes, that's right.
But yeah, that £160,000 bond. I mean, that is about 3/4 of the value of the average house in Rydale.
Yeah.
And that was before fracking started, so it might be twice the price of the average house by now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what's that going to achieve? Anyway, yeah. Well, I hope you got in.
No, that's fantastic. We just need a few shots, a little bit of actuality there, Johnny. So having a look through
What do you want us to say?
Well, this what will be good is just for something a little less formal. It'd be these are their accounts, and it'd be great if you could say something like these are the accounts for the year to the end of December 2015. Last year's accounts. They should have been filed at Companies House nearly 3 months ago.
Yeah, right.
And then we'll get a few shots of you looking through
that
those.
would be it, because we'll just use that 6 or 7 seconds.
Well, these are the accounts for Third Energy UK Gas Limited for 2015. These were submitted very late, and we're waiting for the 2016 version, which are also very late. These are real concerns when this is the company that's going to be doing the fracking in an industry that the government has categorically told us is going to be soundly regulated.
2016's accounts may be nearly 3 months late, but 2015's financial statements make fascinating reading. The company that wants to frack, Third Energy UK Gas, is owned by Third Energy Holdings, and that's based in the tax-friendly Cayman Islands. The North Yorkshire business turned over less than £500,000 in 2015 from its extraction of natural gas at Kirby Misperton. Yet its accounts show it owes over £50 million to fellow companies within the Third Energy family. How so, I asked. According to a spokesman for the company that's poised to frack here at Kirby Misperton, it's money provided by the parent to allow for the conduct of normal business, paying staff and contractors, and for operations and maintenance. As for the late accounts, they're apparently in the preparation phase. Broader parliamentary questions have been asked though, such as why are companies based in the Cayman Islands, like Third Energy Holdings? It's registered at an office in Georgetown called Ugland House, along with 18,000 other businesses, and that raised the suspicions of former President Barack Obama.
As President Obama said, that's either the biggest building in the world or it's the biggest tax scam on record. And I do believe it to be the latter.
But at the gates of the fracking site today, some light relief from financial matters. A visit by Tibetan monks saying a prayer for the land. The government still has to give its approval for test fracking to go ahead. It's now likely to be the new year before we find out if the monks' prayer to stop it has worked. Ian Reeve, BBC Look North, Kirby Misperton.